Hello YouTube, welcome to my video. Just thought I'd make a quick video showing a GroovyMame setup that I've got connected to my Blast cabinet. Now GroovyMame is a variation of Mame which allows a certain brand of video card, which is ATI Radeon, to connect to a CRT screen, usually 15 kHz, but it can also be 24 kHz and 31 kHz, and it allows GroovyMame and a package called CRT Emudrivers created by a guy called Calamity, and you can find a thread on arcade control forums. So GroovyMame and CRT Emudrivers allows you to connect a bog standard PC using an ATI graphics card to a CRT screen, which one of the benefits is of using that package is that you don't have to mess about with any kind of resolutions, screen resolutions for the display. And also using a CRT screen, the latency is quite a bit better than using a LCD panel. So let me just turn this on. Now you don't really have to have powerful hardware to play GroovyMame. It is recommended that you have at least a decent CPU, but the graphics card when using Mame you don't really need a powerful graphics card because everything is CPU based. Some other emulators, they do benefit from a better graphics card, but with Mame it just depends on the CPU. Now I'm running quite an old setup on this. It was just some parts I had laying around, so my specs of the PC inside the cabinet is an E8400 CPU dual core, which has been overclocked just a little bit. Some RAM which has been overclocked, 2 gigs of RAM which has been overclocked a little bit, and the latency is quite low, so it's running at CL3 for all the geeks out there. And I've got a HD 4850 graphics card, and I've got an SSD running XP. So as you can see, you turn the PC on, it goes straight into Mame, which is the front end, and I've got it set up so it loads the last game that was loaded, or you could have it load a specific game. Now you can't just, when you have a cabinet, a jammer cab, you can't just connect the cabinet and have controls. It's a lot easier if you buy a thing called a J-Pack by a company called Ultimarc. So what the J-Pack does, it's a bridge between your PC and the jammer on your cab. So you would have the J-Pack plugged into the PC with a USB. It would get its power at a USB, and also you actually plug the display into it as well. So a VGA socket on the J-Pack, and then it turns into a jammer connector which connects to your loom. Now there is a function on the J-Pack which allows you to basically block any kind of harmful signals going to your monitor. So it is a very useful little gadget, and it just makes things a lot easier if you go for a J-Pack from the start. So one of the reasons that I went for a GroovyMame setup is, first of all, I had a jammer to Pi, which is basically, this is the jammer to Pi. Now I've scavenged the J-pack off this, because the J-pack was usually there, and then this would just plug into the jammer loom, and it's a really good device. It just takes the power from the jammer loom and it powers itself basically. It is a really good device. Now some of the games played great. I had no issues with some of the games, but there was a couple of games which I'm quite fond of, and they're quite nostalgic games for me, and I had issues with lag and latency. You know, they display fine on the screen, but when you press the button, there was a delay between pressing the button and actually the action on the screen. So when I fired the fire button on the control panel, there was a delay, and then it would appear on the screen, and it made it unplayable for me. Well, not unplayable, it just made it less enjoyable. It wasn't how I remembered playing them. And I have the luxury of having a 1943 bootleg jammer PCB, so I do have something to compare. So when I played the 1943 PCB, that was fine and it was great. But when I played 1943 on the Jammer Pi, there was quite a bit of lag, you know. And there is a guy working on the software side of things, and also the same guy that built this, a guy called Richard Gregory, and he's also known as Chunksing. Now he's done fantastic work on coding the software that basically allows you just to plug it in to a jammer. You don't have to set anything up, it's all pre-configured, you know. And he also took the time to build this, which I'm very grateful of. Now I think a lot of the issues with the software, it could be down to configuration, but I personally think that the Jammer Pi is just a little bit too underpowered. Now when I was playing games like Star Force, 1942, 1943, there was quite a bit of lag. I felt as if there was quite a bit of lag. Games like Elevator Action Returns, that was unplayable. It was laggy, and well, it just wouldn't play. It would display, but it would just be so slow and choppy, and it was unplayable. And then there was 1944 the Loop Master, which had some sound issues, which I think may have been a configuration issue. So that's what spurred me on to build the jammer. To build the GroovyMame setup. It's not too difficult to set up if you know about PCs and how to install operating systems, it's not too bad. There are some facts and how-tos on YouTube, how to set up GroovyMame. There was a couple of issues I encountered, one of them being the graphics card that I'm using. I was trying to use the VGA socket on the graphics card, and I could connect another monitor, put it into the resolution, swap over the cables, and it would display, but it would not boot up in 15 kilohertz. It just wouldn't. It would just display a black image on the screen. But when I plugged in another monitor, it would display, and then I plugged the CRT back in, it would display, and then when I turned it off, it would basically, when I turned it on again, it would just be a black screen. And what that was me using the incorrect incorrect port on the graphics card. What I found is that you have to use the port which is closest to the motherboard. So when you plug in your graphics card, the lower connector, the bottom connector that is closest to the motherboard, that's the one you need to use. That's the one you should be configuring. If you're trying to use another socket, you may run into issues. Now I'll just go through the front end. So this is Mala, and Mala, I don't think it's currently being supported anymore. And when I tried to first install Mala, it wouldn't pick any of my games up. It would always say 0 games. Now there's a guy on, again, Arcade Controls Forum, who found a workaround for the 0 game issue, and I'll post a link in the description. and all it entails is to open up the config and just change a couple of words so it knows the commands to look for the games in the lists. So this is one of my favourite games. Now, the nag screens are on there. I don't know how to. I haven't really looked into how to remove them, but apparently it's quite easy. Now, one of the reasons that I went for GroovyMame as well is I would like the PCBs at some point, but the space they actually take and the issue of them developing faults is one of the downsides of spending, you know, what can be hundreds and hundreds or maybe even thousands of pounds on PCBs. They're quite old now. I mean, this game, Gradius 2, is, you know, it's nearly 30 years old. So these PCBs are quite old now. So let's go through some games. So yeah, one more thing is the JPack. It's pre-configured to use the defaults. So if you have Mame installed, JPack actually picks up the defaults of Mame, so you don't really need to change any buttons. I did have to change the button configuration on Gradius 2 a little bit because I was in the wrong order for how I like to play. But generally everything is, you don't have to touch anything. The start buttons work, the coin slot works. One of the only things you have to do is just tweak the monitor a little bit, because it's running at the arcade resolutions. The arcade games, they tend to run at slightly different resolutions. So I'll just dial this in. So there is a little bit of adjustment, but you know, that's a minor issue, to be quite honest. So also I've got a little Logitech Lenovo mini keyboard, so I can break into Windows, do some configuration, and it's just quite easy to use that. It's very convenient. So I'll turn up the volume. So we'll go through a couple of games and I'll show you how Mala works. So with Mala, you break out using player 1 and player 2. You can go through these are the games that I've added to my own favourites list. So if I want to add another game to my favourites list, so this is the list of all the games. I mean, there's thousands of games. I mean, a lot of them are just jump fruit machine games. I mean, if you like fruit machine games, that's fine, but I'm not really interested in fruit machine games. So the whole list is populated. Now, if you don't have the RAM, that you won't start. So I'll put in Time Pilot, so I press 2 player. It will bring up another menu. And then it will ask my game list, I press 1 player. And then add selected game, press 1 player again, add to my favourites. And then Time Pilot 84 should be... Oh. Yeah, so this is my favourites list. So there's Time Pilot 84 now. And I've just added, like I said before, I've added a couple of games. So I'll go through some games. So, too early.
Destroy them all. Speed up. Two-ray missile. Speed up.
I mean, one of the things is that what you probably can't see on the camera is how vibrant the colours are on the CRT. You just wouldn't be able to tell this is a PC.
Missile laser. Shoot it in the head.
So yeah, that's Gradius 2. We'll try Joris, another great game from Calamity. And obviously this is a vertical game, so there are borders on the side. was Gyrus. So, play some Rygar. Rygar is such a great game as well. Let's try Time Pilot. Now this is one of my favourite games. I'd like to own PCBs at some point, but like I said before, it's do I want to have the house filled with more junk, or have PCBs worth a lot of money potentially buying. So yeah, that's Time Pilot. Let's try some 1944. Now obviously with the legality of Mame, what would be great is if the software companies would release the ROMs so we could actually pay the copyright holders of these games at least some kind of remittance, some kind of payment, so we can play these games legally. But whether they'd listen to that kind of solution is anybody's guess. But I would definitely pay for the privilege of using these games. So this is a great game, but this didn't work on Jammerpie. The Jammerpie couldn't quite handle.
This pretty seriously.
So yeah, this is another game I used to enjoy. So another thing you can do is I've set up the buttons to go up and down the letters. So if I go see, these are all the garbage fruit machines. I don't know how many deal or no deals there is. We add this to the favourite list. But yeah, so that's the end of my little demonstration. Hope you liked the video. Thanks to all the subscribers and people who take their time to watch the videos. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.